Welcome into Spotlight. My name is Tony Hubert, and today we visit with Madison County Recorder of Deeds, Amy Meyer from Alton, Illinois. Amy, how are you?
I'm doing great today, Tony. Thank you.
You have been in office since December of 2012 as the Recorder of Deeds. How does one decide, I'd love to run for Recorder of Deeds?
Well, I think first you have to have a desire to be in political office, and with that, usually you've had some experience with your party and some experience maybe working in a governmental field. But mostly it has to be something that you really just in your heart feel that you want to do for the betterment of our government, the betterment of our society. And then you have to take a big leap of faith and put yourself in there.
Hard to run for an election when you've never done one before?
It's incredibly hard. The hardest part is deciding that you're going to do it, but once you're in it, you have to stick with it. And there's a lot of things that you don't necessarily anticipate, but that you have to deal with. You
have promoted a fraud alert program. Fill us in about what triggers a fraud alert to a Madison County registrant and what you look for in your office for this.
Well, Tony, first I think it's important to say why we need a fraud alert. Property fraud is one of the fastest growing white-collar crimes in the United States. And when someone comes into our office with a record to be recorded, we simply make sure that it meets the statutory requirements, that it has a signature on it and it appears as though it's original, and we take it on. Now, some people, some fraudsters, have submitted documents to our office that actually sign away someone else's property or will place liens on someone's property unbeknownst to that person. And we've had people come in and say, here's a lien on my property. I don't know why this is here. So what that fraud alert program does is when you provide the Madison County Recorder's Office with your name and your contact information, if there is any documents filed against your name in Madison County, you will receive notification of that. And then you can contact us to check and see if this is something involving your property. Because although there's a requirement that any deed changes give notice, when fraud occurs on a property, the property owner doesn't necessarily know that this has happened or that there's been a document recorded against their property. So this allows them to receive notice, contact us, and if it's fraudulent, to do something about it immediately.
Veterans. When you think of veterans, in the Recorder of Deeds office, I don't think I necessarily think of the two, but you do have things available for veterans.
We do, and I always point out we're the Recorder of Deeds as well as other things. We record what's called a DD-214, which if you're a veteran, you know that is your discharge paper. And I have been going around to the VFWs and the American Legions in Madison County and other veteran services groups to let them know about this service. And most of the older veterans already have their DD-214s on record because their commanding officers told them, get these on. Some of them don't. And some of the newer veterans, that's not part of the program. So we are very much out there to make sure that veterans are aware that your local recorder's office is a place where you can take your DD-214s and have them put on record. Now, the importance of that, there's a few fold. I tell the older veterans because they actually know what a safety deposit box is.
True.
Something that seems to be lost on the millennials. But we are almost like a safety deposit box in the way that we're able to take these records on. When something goes on record in the recorder's office, it's on permanent record, and it's our duty to preserve these records for time eternal. And so when your DD-214 goes on record in our office, it is not subject to public view as our land documents are. It's kept separate, and it's only given to the veteran or the veteran's next of kin. But we tell the veterans, you know what, no looking through drawers, no having to try to find this. You will know that it is on record with our office, and we will give you a certified copy and a wallet card anytime you ask at no charge. That's important as well. For the veterans, especially our older veterans, to let their family members know, because when veterans pass away, they often are entitled to special services at their funeral.
It's true.
And during those times of stress, it's good to not have to go searching for these very important documents, but to know that you can make a call to our office and get a copy of them.
The incumbent Madison County Recorder of Deeds, Amy Meyer, our guest here on Spotlight. Amy, politics gets dirty. This is no secret. You have encountered allegations. There are two that I would like you to address. The first being not spending your time in the recorder's office and that time being spent supposedly out practicing law.
Well, let me clarify. As the recorder, I do spend a great deal of time in the office, but as I mentioned to you, Tony, part of what I do is to promote what our office does and to promote the programs that we have within the office. And in order to do that, I have to get out in Madison County. And this is, our county is 700 square miles. It's a big county. And I've been able to cover the entire county in my term in speaking with people about the programs that we have. So I do that. As far as the practicing law, I am an attorney. I'm going on almost 20 years with a license. But to insinuate that I am somehow practicing law out of my recorder's office is nonsense. When I came into office, I left my practice. I had a very active practice, but I gave that up in order to do my work as a recorder. Now, I did maintain my status as of counsel, and just so people understand what that means, it merely means that I'm still an attorney, and I still, have that association with the firm as an attorney, but I'm not actively involved. I don't have a desk there, and I can't tell you the last time I went in there, which I miss them, but I've been busy with my work in the recorder's office. As I mentioned, I'm also a single mother. I have 2 teenage children, and to think that I could take on an additional task of actually practicing law in addition to raising my kids and all of the changes that we've done in this office, I'm not that much of a superwoman.
And the second point that has been raised, the second allegation, is that you have used or spent county money to hire a life coach.
Well, let me clarify that terminology of life coach. I think using that terminology toward the person that I hired to come into my office and provide a 6-week program in order to better the communications, to better the thought, and to certainly better the behavior of my staff, it is disingenuous to call this person a life coach. As I mentioned, this is Laura Berkey. She was hired in my office to do thought, behavior, and communication coaching and development. And it's simply, it's just nonsense to say that she is a life coach. When I hired Ms. Berkey to come in and provide training to my staff, I was relatively new in my tenure. And I felt that the best thing that I could give my staff at that point was some additional training.
When the election comes, what is the one reason, Amy Meyer, that a person should walk into their Madison County booth and cast their ballot next to your name? Why should they punch Amy Meyer for Recorder of Deeds in another term?
I'm a committed public servant. That is the reason that I am in office. And I will continue to improve the programs in the recorder's office. I will continue to ensure that the employees are treated with respect and are given an opportunity to grow. And I will ensure that I always act in a manner that's in the best interest of my constituents here in Madison County.
Amy Meyer, before we let you off the hook here on Spotlight, is there anything you want the voters of Madison County to know about you?
Well, first of all, I'd like to ask them for their vote. Second, if they've got any further questions about me or my campaign, I can be contacted at facebook.com/Meyer for Recorder. One of the things I do want the voters to know, in addition to my promise to continue to do an excellent job for you as a recorder, I want you to know that I have always voted as a Democrat here in Madison County. I am a strong, progressive Democrat and have maintained an active role in the Democratic Party here. That is unlike my opponent, who has never pulled a Democratic ballot in Madison County. So I'm asking again for the Democratic voters here in Madison County to please give me their vote on March 15th, which is the primary. I would also like to point out that early voting is available in Madison County, and the information on that can be obtained at madisonvotes.com. Again, please get out and vote. March 15th is our primary, and please vote Democrat. Please vote for Amy Meyer.
Paid for by Friends for Amy M. Meyer.